Barca win their fourth El Clasico, and Dortmund seem to always find a way, Vic.
Napoli are slipping up in the race for the Scudetto, and Newcastle happen to stake their claim in the Champions League qualification. Pretty amazing. But all this, much more to talk about on this episode 67 of the No Business Soccer Podcast. News, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Hey. I don't know if someone's going to catch it, so I'm just going to call it out. I thought you were going to slip up. You were like tripping up a little bit. I was like, all right, and then you just picked up right where you left off, and look at you. Well, that's my boy Professional right there. So
whenever you never know what you're about to say, something always comes out. You know what I mean?
That feels like something that we need to make a scrapbook of, or scrapbook. Who scrapbooks now? But like a sayings folder of a hype man Vic-ism, if you will. Anyway, welcome to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we got the full fam. I say fam and fam at the same time, and hopefully that's not weird. Let's try it differently this time. We have Danny P on the ones and twos, and my boy Brainiac J Fam in the back. Of course, we're all here for one man. The one. He's pointing. All right, let's do it. Hype man Vic, what you sipping on, dog?
What's going on? What I got today, I wanted a little bit more higher age stuff, so I got a 12-year here. It's the Weller 12-year. I also got a backup bottle of this whenever they mass dropped in Austin. You probably got one out there, guys. You guys know exactly what I'm talking
obviously.
about.
Yep.
But yeah, this one's really good. It's a wheated bourbon, so it's a little bit softer, a little bit sweeter, but then that 12-year age statement brings out all the note and the vanilla and everything. I can go on and on, but while I take a sip of this delicious elixir, go ahead, hit the like button. Bam. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. It's free, right? We don't charge anything, right? As far as I'm concerned, we don't charge anything. It's free. Helps us out. Best way to promote us. And love to talk to you guys more about some European football. Cheers.
Once we have to start like sending our underwear and stuff, then we'll charge for it. But for now, we're good.
Whoa.
I don't know. That's what people do online, apparently. Never done this.
There's a mixed emotions right there. You say that, and then I take a drink of this amazing Weller, and I'm like,
Well, we got a full show for you today. We have Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, and the Prem. All going to be recapped here on the European reach around. No UEFA competitions yet because we know the finals. We talked about them last week. Those will be coming up in the next recap, the next European reach around. But I think before we get into anything else, Vic, unfortunately, we have to go boots on the ground in Austin, Texas for the Austin FC Minute.
Yes. Not a fruitful weekend in Cincinnati as, of course, Austin FC come up short again 2-1 or 1-2 if you go by your team first. But 1-2. Brandon Vasquez did get another goal, so that's 3 goals in 2 games if you count the El Paso game. 3 goals in 2 games for him. It was from the penalty spot, but Cincinnati just happened to get 2 other goals on us. They looked a much better team. And we're stringing along a lot of losses so far and not in a good time because we welcome Atlanta United to the hot Austin desert. It's going to seem like because they come by Wednesday. If you don't know, or if you guys are watching and you're not in Austin, it's supposed to be like 104 on Wednesday. So they kickoff time 30 minutes back. Yeah, it's at 7. It was at 7:30. It's at 8 now. And it's supposed to be crazy. As a matter of fact, there's like a European model that I'll just stay there. European weather model that was saying that it might get to 114. So it's going to be hot, but we're still going to be there. Danny P said he was coming. He can't back out now. So we'll be sweaty, but we'll be there and watch them take on Atlanta United. I think it's the first time Atlanta United's been to Austin. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah, not very motivated or excited, but we're going to be there. We're going to have fun.
Okay. Well, let's turn our attention to less depressing things, and let's talk about what went on in Italy.
Let's do it then. To Serie A.
Yeah, I was pretty hyped up for this match that kicked it all off on Friday because honestly, it was there wasn't a lot of great matches on, but this one, Bologna versus Milan, was amazing. Bologna went up early thanks to a slick Orsolini finish, and it's been a hell of a season for Orsolini overall. But that was where the fun stopped for Bologna as Milan scored 3 unanswered. Chikwueze, Pulisic, and Jimenez were so smooth, playing off of each other. And honestly, we need to see more of that. I believe Jimenez and Chikwueze came off the bench. They were playing so well. Let's just see how those 3 pair up going forward. On Saturday, Como get a 3-1 home win over Cagliari. And Cagliari got the first goal, but Como stormed back with some filthy goals to cap off the win. Nico Paz, he is amazing. He is the truth. He's really, really good. And he's just good at creating, too. Obviously, we've seen him score some bangers. But now I think this team needs to build around him. And we need to see where he's going because not where he's going as far as like leaving the team, but see where he goes with his career. Another thing I got to call out, too, is that whenever I was listening to some different podcasts. Xabi Alonso, obviously we're not in the Bundesliga right now, but we will be in a little bit. They were talking about him leaving and possibly having Cesc Fabregas take over. But Cesc Fabregas is the coach of Como. And Como is a team that I think he has like some ownership stake in. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. Either way, I don't want to see it. I want to see Nico Paz and him creating and him tearing it up in Serie A for Como. Okay. Let's go on. Lazio and Juve played out a 1-1 draw at Stadio Olimpico, and Juve got the first goal in the 51st minute thanks to a McKinney assist to Kolo Muani. And man, it's been a couple of games, but McKinney's getting back on the score sheet with an assist. But Lazio level it at the death in the 95th minute. Our Lazio keep their Champions League dreams alive. And Empoli win at home 2-1 against Parma, and it was all thanks to a clutch long-range goal from Tino Angerin. And not only was it a nice goal and a winner, but that goal might have just saved Empoli from going down. We will find out in a couple more match days. Man, it's almost over. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. On Sunday, Udinese fall at home to the bottom of the table, Monza 2-1. Udinese are glad they got their work done earlier this season, Vic, because they have been one of the worst. They've been horrible in the Serie A over the past 10 match days. They've lost 6 out of their last 10. And man, good job, Monza, though. We can't just talk about Udinese, even though Monza are already on their way out. Hey,
yeah,
party
relegated. Yeah.
Verona and Lecce split the points in a 1-1 draw, and that's an okay result for Verona. But like we said on the look ahead, Lecce needed 3 points here, and now they let Venezia and Empoli catch them and get back into the relegation fight. And we'll talk more about that whenever we see the table here in a second. Inter take care of business on a miserable night in Torino with a 2-0 win. They got the job done despite the pouring rain and keep the pressure on Napoli. And when I say pouring, the second half was fine, but the first half, it was like you could hardly see out there. It was crazy. And Napoli, however, they did not take care of business. They draw 2-2 with Genoa, and every time Napoli took the lead, Genoa hit back, and they got a late equalizer to allow Inter to close the gap to the top of the table, and things just got super interesting with the last couple of matches on the docket. And then today's matches, Monday, well, for you, it would be Tuesday or yesterday. Venezia come through when it matters most with a 2-1 win over Fiorentina, and it was a pretty comfortable win for them overall. Our Fiorentina did not play a great game. They jumped out to a 2-goal lead before Fiorentina got one back in the 77th minute, and they might do the unthinkable. We called them our pet project mid-season, and here they are. I don't want to give it away, but we'll talk about it here in a second. Atalanta put in a shift as they get a 2-1 win over Roma, and it was a pretty even back-and-forth match, but Atalanta come through with the winner in the 76th minute thanks to Sulemana goal from range, and we'll talk more about this one here in just a moment. Vic, where does that leave us in the table after match day 36 with only 2 match days left, sir?
Yes, sir. Well, we have a title race. Now, I got to fly here now. It went from your house last week to my house now. We have a title race as Napoli are in the number 1 spot. Still, they have 78 points, and because they have a draw, they allow Inter Milan or Inter to get within 1 point. They have 77 points with 2 games left. This is going to be fun. Now, the least amount, well, not really not fun, but the least interesting team here is Atalanta. If they lose out, they're still in 3rd, and they are in the 3rd spot right now. They can possibly be taking the 2nd spot, but like, it doesn't matter what happens from Atalanta right now. So they are in the number 3 spot.
Qualified for Champions League.
Yes, they did qualify.
Yes. Essentially, they are. They're like they did.
Yes. And good on them. Good on them for doing so. But the reason I called it out is because while they take the 3rd spot, Juventus have the number 4 spot. They round out our top 4 with 64 points. And then when you go from 4th all the way down, I believe 8th, it's 4 points. It's a 4-point difference. And all these Europa spots, the last Champions League spot, this race is going to be interesting. Juventus have 64 points. They are tied with Lazio, who are in the number 5 spot, also 64 points. 1 point behind them is Roma with 63 points in the number 6 spot. Bologna have 62 points in the 7th spot, and then AC Milan have 60 points in the number 8 spot. So you can go anywhere these last 2 games.
Man,
it's going to be so fun in these. Yeah, it's so fun in these last spots here for any kind of European tournament. And also, not only on top of the table, if we look at the bottom of the table, we know Monza's out. Monza has been relegated. They have 18 points. We'll start at number 20. So we can go ahead and skip then. But like as we said here in the relegation spots, Lecce and Empoli both have 28 points in the relegation zone. But who is not? Venezia. As you were alluding to earlier, they have made it out. They are number 17. 25 points with that win. Fought out of relegation. Man, we were writing their obituary earlier this season. So absolutely amazing on them for doing so. And then it gets really fun here as well, as Parma have 32 points. They're in the 16th spot. Verona have 33, and Cagliari also have 33. So between Cagliari in the 14th spot and Empoli in the 19th spot, those can shift out all the time as well. Just like we see on top with the European spaces, we're going to see with the relegation battle at the bottom, and it is going to be a fun end of the season. Fun last 2 games. You cannot miss it, and you will find all your updates here on the No Business Soccer podcast. Subscribe. We're going to have everything for you, man. Come on.
Professional.
Yeah, you like that, right?
I did, actually, very much. And I don't have anything to go off, right? You already said it all.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I swallowed that whiskey, bro, so you can take it from here.
All right. Well, let's go on to the match that we're going to discuss. The one that I keyed in on was actually today's match, Atalanta versus Roma. And, man, that match, that I don't want to say that it was straightforward, because it wasn't. Atalanta, I'll say they put in a professional shift. How about that? Because they get a 2-1 win over Roma, as we discussed. And it was pretty even back and forth early. I mean, it was Atalanta getting the first goal, Roma getting the second. And it kind of is what we've come to expect from a Roma team that have been unbeaten for so long. But they come through. Atalanta comes through with the winner in the 76th minute. Like I was saying, Sulemana with a long-range goal. And it was actually, I mean, the way it bent, it was really nice goal. And it came so late that it just felt like at that point, Roma were definitely not going to be able to come back, but they were pushing. They were definitely going for it. And then by the end of the match, Ranieri was pissed off. He was talking to the refs. He was going all over the place. They did not like the result. And I don't really see a lot of discrepancy, or a lot of bad decisions, I guess I should say, that kind of led to that. But, you know, whenever your team had been unbeaten for 19 matches, that's kind of, you're not used to it, I guess. You're used to losing, that is. And we said it in the preview. I really liked Atalanta in this game because of the pressure they were under to get back into the Champions League, and the fact that they were home, and the fact that they've had some up and down results of late, and that this team getting a result over Roma, specifically this team who's just been so good, can really kind of set the tone going into the offseason, and they get it done. And I was kind of thinking about it a bit. I was listening to a bit about what's going to be going on with Roma whenever this season ends. And Ranieri's already pretty much said, or not pretty much, he is said that he's getting, or they've told him he's getting a job, like some kind of job in the office of Roma. Like he's going to be helping out with some capacity, not on the touchline. So they'll be coming after a new manager. They'll be hiring a new manager, which would be their 4th in the past 2 seasons once the season ends. And I was just thinking it's probably better for them that they did lose this match, and you know they didn't just get dominated, right? They went down swinging, and they get into the Conference League or something, the Europa League, Conference League, wherever they finish. Because if they were in the Champions League, new coach, we already saw how it happened without Ranieri, or what happened without him. So it could have been a disaster, like we saw with Girona this year, like we saw with Stuttgart this year. You know, just teams that getting in for the first time in a while and just didn't really look. Even Bologna in Serie A, right? They didn't look great. So maybe it's better this way that Roma doesn't necessarily get into the Champions League, even though they'd been so good in Serie A. Just a little think that I had. But Atalanta, they look real good. They've won 4 of 5. They're closing out the season strong. They're going to the Champions League. Like, what's left to do here. They're probably going to see out the rest of the season. And they were on their way to doing some great things in the Champions League this past season. We'll see if they can go further this next season. Vic, anything you have for this match before we move on?
No, you said it all, and my throat's done burning right now, so I think I'm good.
Is your throat ready for us?
Yes, it's ready
to move on the podcast.
Yeah, come on.
Right? Okay, let's go to Spain.
Let's do it. To La Liga.
Man, that jingle always just gets me in the mood.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's good stuff.
Okay, let's do this. The matches kicked off on Friday, and it was Las Palmas. They drop another match at home, this time 1-0 to Rayo Vallecano. They had their chances to get a point, but they couldn't get the equalizer, and now they'll have to hope that they can catch Alaves in their final 3 matches. Rayo are now very, very close to getting European football next season, which I would just be really cool to see that, because where they've been the past, specifically last season. I was going to just go on, but I want to talk a little bit more a second ago. Las Palmas, they have a... Let's check out their last couple of matches real quick, because I know we won't get back to it if I go through the rest of the match. Las Palmas. I'm curious to see what they're... Because, unlike some of the other leagues, we have 3 matches left in La Liga. So let's take a look. Las Palmas, we have Sevilla, Leganés, and Espanyol. And we'll see the table here in a second. So out of those, Sevilla have been horrible, right? Leganés, that's a 6-pointer right there. And Espanyol, they're not too far up the table from that. So they have, even though they lost, they still have a great chance at getting the points they need to go up. Oh, look at that professional right there, switching to the table real quick. I just wanted to call out because I know we've been talking about how we want to go see Las Palmas and whatnot, but losing to Rayo 1-0, that does suck. But they have 3 more chances, and against teams that they can easily, I can see them getting at least 3 to 4 points from. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
On Saturday, Valencia get a much-needed, low-drama, business-as-usual 3-0 win over Getafe. And with that win, they are now only a couple points away, or a couple points off Rayo for the Conference League spot with 3 matches left, which is crazy to say. How stupid would that be in a good way? Like stupid good if they end up getting into Europe next season after the season they had. I mean, come on.
That'd be awesome.
I would love to see it.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yes. Stupid in a good way, if that's a thing. Whatever. Celta find a way to get the 3-2 home win over Sevilla. Sevilla had more than double the amount of shots and shots on target than Celta, but they couldn't find a way through. Celta are primed for a European finish, with Sevilla just waiting for the season to end at this point. They are done. Girona lose at home to Villarreal, with the Yellow Submarine getting the go-ahead goal in the 88th minute. The win keeps Villarreal ahead of Betis in the table and in that final Champions League spot. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. Mallorca keep pace with Rayo for the final European place with a 2-1 win over Valladolid. Volidoli, like last week, took the lead, but just isn't good enough to hold it. They're just not that great. Atleti ported on La Real with a 4-0 win. Alexander Sorloth was the star of the show as he bagged 4 goals within the first 30 minutes of the match, and he had a hat trick within 11 minutes. Maybe he should start more, Vic, if you're scoring that good, scoring that often anyway. Or maybe Real Sociedad are just that bad this season. Who knows? On Sunday, Leganés get 3 much-needed points to get Espanyol to bring them within striking distance of Alaves and safety. And they are so close to getting it done now. It's a good win for Los Pepineros. We'll see how it ends. Athletic Club grind out a 1-0 win over Alaves at San Mamés, and they could have easily slipped up here with their result in Manchester on Thursday. Obviously, a very emotional, draining result for them, but they do enough to get all 3 points, and it's good to see Sunset back out on the pitch and doing things. Barcelona win their 4th El Clasico this season with a 4-3 win, and we'll break it all down here in just a moment. And then Betis won, Osasuna won. It looked like Betis would be taking all 3 points here, but our boy Anta Budimir spoils the party and almost got the winner as well. But for now, Betis stay a couple points back from Villarreal. Vic, where does that leave us in the table after match day 35 in La Liga?
Yes, looking at the table, Barcelona have done everything except to wrap it up. And with their win at El Clasico, they're beating Real Madrid. It's only getting harder and harder for them. But they have 82 points in the number one spot. Real Madrid, as we said, they are 7 points behind them with 75 points. Atletico Madrid, 5 more points behind Real Madrid with 70 points. And then Athletic Club was 6 points behind them in the number 4 spot with 64 points, followed by Villarreal, who rounded out our top 5 with 61 points. We'll go into the Europa spots here real quick. As Real Betis have 58 points, they could still sneak into those Champions League. As you said, they do have 3 match days left. They do have a midweek madness match day coming up pretty soon here. So more than enough can happen for Betis to get into a Champions League spot. But it's going to be a little bit more daunting for Celta Vigo. Actually, I think they're already mathematically eliminated because they only have 9 points left to get a Champions League spot. But there is a huge gap there with 9 points. But they do claim the number 7 spot, the last Europa League tournament spot there. And then Rayo Vallecano is behind them with 47 points. As you were talking about earlier, they could sneak up in there and not have to do the whole playoff thing that they have there. I think it's a playoff thing. I might have made that up right now, but anyway, going to the bottom of the table, Leganés, as you were talking about earlier, they're in the 18th spot, second team relegated if the season ended today. I'll get to the reason why in just a second, although everybody already knows they have 34 points. Las Palmas are in the 19th spot with 32 points. We are hoping for them to win, so we have a La Liga team come by to San Antonio and we can watch them. But holy guacamole, in last place, my Boli Dolis, Real Valladolid, a negative 59 goal differential, which is insane. They have 16 measly points and doing their best to stay at the bottom. They have at least 6 losses in a row. They are fully relegated, and we won't see you next year. Good luck, my goalie.
Did we do the math on air that they're like the worst team in Europe this year? Or because it was Southampton, right? Or was that?
Yeah,
I remember if we did that.
Yeah, they have the worst goal differential, but Southampton has less points.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But Real Valladolid has the worst goal differential.
That's
bad.
Yeah, very bad.
So, anything else you want to call out on this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, my prediction was right for Real Madrid and Barcelona in El Clasico for a full 14 minutes until Barcelona absolutely took over this match. Talk to us a little bit more about this match and how exciting it was, Snooze.
Yeah, I'll just say the first word that comes to mind when I think of this match is wow. It was just crazy to see. Halftime, I think we had 6 goals by halftime. And this match had it all, Vic. It had almost everything except defending on either side. I saw so many sloppy defending, I don't want to say plays, but you get my point. Sloppy defending moments that was kind of the deciding factor in this match. It led specifically the one that Rafinha got for the 3rd goal for Barcelona to take the lead. It was just like, how are you a Real Madrid defender and you get your pocket picked in the box like that or around the box like that? It was just crazy. But anyway, let's talk about the match. I have notes here. I won't just ramble about how mad I was at the defending, but first we have to call out because Mbappe does get a hat trick. Rafinha gets a brace. Yamal scores from a ridiculous angle, which just it's his calling card. He just always does that. And this was really just 2 heavyweights going toe to toe and really going for it. Barcelona do establish their dominance though, at least for this season, over Madrid. Oh, we like that, Madrid, and essentially wrap up La Liga as well. They just need a point from the last 3 matches, and they'll do it. And I think they'll do it next week. This was the icing on the cake for a great first season for Hansi Flick, though. And Flick's Barca team have now beaten Madrid 4 straight times, as we've talked about a couple times already. That fact mixed with the Copa del Rey champions, right? They already won that. And then also the fact that they're winning La Liga. I think that more than rinses out the Champions League failure out of their mouth. I don't know how to say that any better way. But those things have already, in my mind, bought Hansi Flick some time and some time to get it right in Europe. Because, again, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year. We talked about it at the beginning of the season and how they went on an unbelievable run to start the season, even though we didn't know how Hansi Flick would be at the helm of Barcelona. But he obviously knows what he's doing and just needs to, tweak a few things here to get further in. Well, how much further can you get? Only to the final. So, yeah, it's hard when you get to that point in the Champions League. But for Madrid, it's just really not a good way to end the season. Ancelotti's about to leave. Wasn't a good farewell present for him. Last year, Madrid won La Liga. They won the Champions League, and then they added Mbappe and we were all thinking like, this is ridiculous. They got him for free. They might never lose a game. I remember thinking like, by the time we get into this season, they're going to be amazing and scoring all kinds of goals. And, they just won everything and then added the best player in the world. But that's just not really how it went. And the craziest part of all is that not only does Mbappe go to Real Madrid, who won everything, but he leaves PSG, who might go on to win the Champions League without him after they've been having they've had so many chances to get it done. Well, that's a different conversation, but man, it's just a crazy season how it turned out for Real Madrid. I didn't see it coming personally, and I don't think a lot of people did either. I just really felt like this was the last chance for Real Madrid to get something to salvage their season, and they couldn't get it done. It's going to be an interesting summer for sure. Both sides have a lot of changes coming, and we'll see how it goes. But for now, for this season, Barcelona are better. They're just the better team, and they've shown that over 4 matches. Whew, okay.
You are completely right. And you know what? That's probably why Real Madrid are going to sign Trent Alexander-Arnold, because they just need that last bit to push them over, and they will be the best team in the league once they get a red on their side, or another red. They've had a couple, but once they get a red on their side, straight to the moon. He's
definitely needed that defending. I mean, I don't know who was the defender on the ball whenever Rafinha ended up scoring that 3rd goal, but it was really bad. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, historically, TAA is terrible at defending, but he did play pretty well.
And that's why I was calling him the best winger in the league.
Yeah, I don't know why they have him on defense. I have no clue. I would never.
Have you seen players, though? It's pretty crazy how, like, the contrast from whenever they come over from wherever they are to Real Madrid, they just, like, bulk up, but it's weird. Like, they get super muscular but still thin. I don't know. The best example I could think of is Gareth Bale, where he went from looking like a kid at Spurs to like a freaking Neanderthal looking dude with Real Madrid. It sounds horrible, but yeah, he's just freaking ripped. And they'll probably do the same thing with TAA. So I don't know. Maybe he'll be better defensively. But either way, this match was crazy to watch. I couldn't believe how many goals were going in. It's so easy too. But yeah, we're done. We put a nail in that coffin. We know how the top of the La Liga table is going to look at the end of the season, and now it's just looking towards the off season and what's going to happen in the transfer department. We know one for Real Madrid, but yeah, and then obviously they're going to have a new coach. Xabi Alonso's coming. How is that going to work out? Oh man, it's going to be so much fun to talk about in the summer. But that's it for this week and this match day 35. Anything else, Vic, you want to put on before we go?
No, I think we said it all. Good times.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's go to Germany.
Let's do it to Bundesliga.
Danny P must have been taking a bite of his sandwich or something. You know, he's trying.
It's dinner time. I don't know.
He's eating dinner. Yeah.
It got me looking like a fool, just like.
How long do I hold it? All right.
I'll get.
Anyway, in the Bundesliga on Friday, Wolfsburg get a point at home with a 2-2 draw with Hoffenheim. And Wolfsburg will take any positive results they can get at the moment. And for Hoffenheim, yes, it means they're only 3 points back from Heidenheim, but they have a 5-goal differential. So that basically means they're good to go. We'll talk about how that kind of levels off here in just a moment. And on Saturday, Kiel go down swinging with a 2-1 defeat at home at the hands of Freiburg. The place was packed, the tension was thick, but Freiburg didn't flinch, and they get it done. Now they have a date with Eintracht, and a Champions League football place is on the line for them. Eintracht have got it wrapped up. Bochum go down as well, but without a fight, as they lost 4-1 at home to Mainz. With the win and the Leipzig loss, I'm interested to see the table, Vic. You show us where it's at. But I will say that Bochum and Kiel were both relegated with these results. I took your shine. Dang, that's messed up. Bremen and Leipzig finished 0-0, and it's not a good result for either side, as they both might miss out on European qualification altogether. Heidenheim get a 3-0 road upset against Union Berlin, and they were flying in this match, Vic. With this result, they guaranteed they wouldn't be relegated outright, but there's an off chance that they can get out of the relegation playoff as well if they beat Bremen by more than 5 goals and Bayern shut out Hoffenheim. It's not likely, but it's a possibility. It is a possibility. Bayern get a 2-0 win over Gladbach thanks to a brace from Olise, and it was their trophy ceremony. It was Thomas Muller's final farewell to the Munich faithful, and all around good vibes for the Bavarian Giants. Farewell, Thomas Muller. Dortmund get a crucial 4-2 win over Leverkusen. More on this one in a second. Eintracht drop points in a 2-2 draw with St. Pauli, and although it may be harsh to say that they drop points because St. Pauli was up from the 15-minute until Michi Batshuayi, remember that name, Vic, leveled it in the 71st minute. It's just been a while since we've seen this guy do anything, and it's good to see him. But it is good to see him because I haven't seen him in a while. With Eintracht dropping so many points lately, they now have an off chance that they can get into the Europa League after being in the Champions League spot virtually all season. I know I said that they have it locked up, but I was trying to build up the tension here for the show because a lot of these leagues are pretty much wrapped up outside of a few places. But Eintracht, they were so far up. I remember they were like 9, it was maybe 11 or 9 points a gap between them and the next team, and they've drawn so many times that they have to sweat it out in this last match day, but they'll probably end up getting it done. It shouldn't even been a question. Eintracht, they're kind of hit and miss here and there lately. Okay, VfB Stuttgart finally made it look easy with a 4-0 win over the 10 men of Augsburg, and that's back-to-back wins for Stuttgart as well. It's a good way to close out the season for them because they were not doing good, and they maybe they could beat Leipzig next week and then get 3 to close it out. I don't know. Leipzig, there's a lot going on with that team. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But Vic, where does that leave us in the table after match day 33?
Yeah, taking a look at the table, this is one of the leagues where you have the champion, Bayern Munich in this case, and then everybody else who also participated in Bundesliga. Bayern Munich have claimed the title last week, actually. They have 79 points as of today. Bayer Leverkusen in the number 2 spot with 68 points, a clear 11 points behind Bayern Munich. Then another 11 points behind them is Eintracht Frankfurt with 57 points. You were just talking about that earlier, the gap they have because of all the draws they've been having. And then Freiburg round out our top 4. They have 55 points. And I'm going to call out again because it actually grew from last week. Bayern Munich have a 63 goal differential. Freiburg have a -2, giving it a total of -60 or 65 point goal differential between the two. Both of these teams in Champions League spots. Absolutely insane. But they have 55 points. They are followed by Borussia Dortmund, who tickle our top 4 with a 54-point total. They're in the Europa League spot right now, but of course, with one more game to play, they can leapfrog Freiburg to get into those Champions League spot. It is going to be interesting, to say the least, and I can't wait for next week. But at the bottom of the table, Bochum, hosting Kiel, as you said earlier, have been mathematically relegated. They are gone. We will not see you next year. Sorry, I keep saying we'll see you next year. We will not see y'all next year. Sayonara, boys, and good luck to you. While you have Heidenheim in the number 16 spot, they are fighting to get out of that relegation playoff with Hoffenheim. Also St. Pauli, they're right there too. And what they would need is Hoffenheim to lose and for Heidenheim to win. Obviously, with a more than 6 goal differential between the two. And then that's how Heidenheim can leapfrog Hoffenheim and get out of that relegation playoff spot. So it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of eyes on that match whenever we talk about it on the weekend look ahead coming out this Friday. So again, be sure to subscribe. We will talk all about it then. Man, I'm just going through it. Anything else? Yeah. Anything else on the table you want to look at, Snooze?
I would just like to call out Leipzig real quick because if you look at the points, I'm not mistaken. They have 51, and Freiburg are 55. That is a 4-point gap. There's one match day left, which means they did not make the Champions League.
Did not.
So
just like you wanted.
Don't put it that way. It's not like I wanted it to happen. The only reason that I was wanting it is because I would like to see another team in there, except if Dortmund get in there, I mean, it's pretty much the same teams that we had outside. Leipzig are the only one that didn't make it. But anyway, my point is Freiburg would be pretty cool to see up there. Another point that I was going to make about Leipzig is that I had heard that if they didn't get qualification to the Champions League, they might end up having to sell off Sesko and Simmons. So they're at that point. So we'll see because there's such a big, vastly I don't know. I was trying to be smart there, but a big gap between what they pay out for the Champions League and the Europa League. And they're not even in the Europa League right now, so I don't know why I'm bringing that up. But either way, note if they have 0 European competitions next year, this could be a big season for them, or off season anyway, because they might lose a lot of players. They're definitely going to be looking for a new head coach and or a manager. I know what a manager is. Okay, it's just sometimes it's head coach, right? I don't know. We'll talk about that.
You're right.
Right now, though, the point is that Leipzig are in some deep shit. Okay, that's what I want to get out there, and that's it. That's what I want to talk about on the table.
Yeah, and now I'll just call out as well. I do want to see Freiburg go on to the Champions League, and especially with like a negative goal differential. I think that'd be pretty cool. But they have a tall task in front of them, because I'm going to spoil a little bit for Friday, but they have Eintracht Frankfurt next. So it's going to be a 3 and 4, number 3 and number 4 battle. Both of them want some kind of points just to stay into the Champions League, obviously. Stay in the Champions League, obviously, so they do want to get a win. Borussia Dortmund, who are knocking and tickling on our top 4, they play Holstein Kiel, the relegated Holstein Kiel. So they're going to have a little bit easier path, unless Holstein Kiel want to be the dark horses of everything here. But we will see. It's going to be interesting. Last match day next weekend. Last match day.
See, but Eintracht, they don't. I mean, yes, they can technically not make the Champions League, right? Because because if Dortmund win and they,
by more than 3.
So it's off chance that they don't make it. But anyway, the point that he's making is that on Friday, it's going to be a hell of a match. Is that on Friday? I don't remember if it was on Friday. You said Friday. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know.
No, it's Saturday. I think they all play at the same time, actually.
Oh, that's right. It's like 8:30 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Well, that it's Eintracht and Freiburg. And newsflash, that's going to be our breaking headline. That's going to be our match that we're going to zoom in on the most.
Hey,
so,
all right.
Okay. But hey, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
We'll get there. Little preview for everybody that is listening through what we're going to talk about coming up Friday.
But the match that we are talking about, the one that happened this weekend, is Leverkusen versus Dortmund. And let's just put it this way. Dortmund spoiled Xabi Alonso's going away party with that 4-2 win over Leverkusen. And it was, Vic, no way to put it other than an ass whooping. They got out to a 4-1 lead before Leverkusen got a stoppage time consolation goal. And at this point, there's just so many questions for this Leverkusen side. A few of them, Vic, we're going to be talking about in the offseason. So I just want to lay them out here. The first question that comes to mind is, who will they select as Xabi's replacement? Who's going to be the new manager coming in? And then once they're in, will they be able to sustain the progress that they made under Alonso? Will they be able to continue to be at the top, pushing Bayern for the title and getting into the Champions League? And another one, since he's leaving, does that mean, well, we know for sure Jonathan Tah is leaving, but will Florian Wirtz, little Uzi Wirtz, will he still be there, or will him and some of the other stars leave? I mean, there's just so many things. The only thing I don't want to happen is that, in a couple years' time, we're still doing this and we're talking about Leverkusen, and we'll be like, hey, remember that one time that Leverkusen were good, like for 2 years, they had Alonso and all these people, and they won the league, and yeah, that was crazy, right? Like, that just seems like a possibility, and all these questions are coming to the forefront because of everything that's kind of gone down in the last month and a half of the season. But the other side of the coin is that Dortmund, they've just turned things around. They've decided that they were going to be good, and they started winning matches. And to get a 4-2 win on the road, even though Leverkusen don't really have anything to play for, it's still a massive, massive result, especially when they went down. Leverkusen got that first goal, and then Dortmund stormed back. But it just takes some huevos, some cojones. You know what I mean? Like, they're fighting for it, and now they are putting themselves. I mean, I don't know the percentage chance, but they are probably favorites to get into the Champions League at the moment, even though Freiburg are there, because Freiburg have an Eintracht side who are also, we just talked about it, who are also playing for the Champions League. So Dortmund might slip in just because they have a relegated side, and I don't know. It's just so much to look forward to in this last match day. I mean, so much, but it's only those 2 matches. Maybe there's other matches. I haven't broken it down yet, but either way, it's going to be a tight race, and I'm excited to see how it finishes out. And I don't want to talk too much because then you won't watch the look ahead if I keep talking about it. So just wait for that. Okay. Anything else, Vic?
Nope. All good. Said it all.
Okay. Let's get to another league that's already called pretty much. Let's go to England.
Let's do it. To the Prem.
The Prem match day 36, and this is the European Region round. On Saturday, Southampton get a 0-0 and a point off Manchester City, and there's no other explanation for it happening other than they heard us say that they had zero chance. And yeah, I mean, City, they have so much to play for. I can't believe that they got a point off of them. Like, I would have bet my mortgage on the fact that they wouldn't get a point from this match, and they did. It's so stupid. Anyway, that's the game, I guess. Fulham gets shellacked by Everton at Craven Cottage 3-1, and Everton win their first match in 4 matches. It's match. Anyway, they're looking to finish the season strong, and I think we said that this next match day is the last Goodison Park one, right? Oh,
I think so. Maybe? Yeah, Southampton. I think so.
It's gonna be a sad time. Okay. The match that I was sneaky excited to watch was pretty one-sided as Brighton get a 2-0 win over Wolves. And this was not the same Wolves side that we saw go on that big winning streak. I think it was like 6, maybe 7 matches, something like that. The team, they've lost back-to-back matches now. They have not looked like that team. Brentford add 3 more points to their tally with a standard 1-0 win over Ipswich Town. Aston Villa get by Bournemouth on the road thanks to an Ollie Watkins goal, and the match ends 1-0. This win, paired with Chelsea and City dropping points, means that Villa have put themselves in prime position to get back in the Champions League next season. And on Sunday, Newcastle get a 2-0 win over Chelsea, and we'll break that down here in just a moment. West Ham finally win a match. They do it for Graham Potter, and it was a 2-0 win over United, who couldn't care less about the Prem. But West Ham won't give a crap with that. What they think, they got to win, and that's all that matters. Forest draw with Leicester in a do-or-die situation, and Champions League qualification is on the line. They draw 2-2 with Leicester. That's so crazy. It was weird, though, because Leicester, they get a late equalizer, and one of the Forest players gets injured, and they're taking him off the pitch. And then Nuno Espirito Santo, I love saying that name, he's like talking to the guy on the other side of the pitch, like, hey, we're good, because he's about to make a sub. And then the guy puts a thumbs up. So he subs, and it's their last sub window, right? So he subs, and then it turns out that the guy that he gave the thumbs up for couldn't carry on. And so now he has to play a man down or put the guy back on the pitch injured, and he puts him back on the pitch, and he's not doing anything. Leicester score. It was just a mess. And then after the match, the owner for Forest storms the pitch to figure out what the hell's going on. He starts yelling at Nuno on the pitch in front of everyone, and it's just not a good look. But I think all of it is coming down. It boils down to the fact that they were in the Champions League. They were in the driver's seat for so long of the season, and now we're right here with 2 matches left. And they're on the outside looking in. Not a good time. Palace easily get past Spurs 2-0, and they get their first win in 5 matches in the Prem. And Spurs, like Manchester United, they don't care about the Prem. They only care about that European trophy, which now Spurs, they're lucky because they're 17th, meaning they can't get relegated because the 3 teams are already relegated, but they're the last team that's not being relegated, and that's not fun. It's really weird. It's a weird feeling. Like, we could win a trophy, but then also be 17th in the freaking table. That's so stupid. Liverpool and Arsenal split the points in a 2-2 draw. Arsenal decided to try again, and they got a result. Liverpool were up 2-0 before Arsenal came back, and it was all for nothing because Liverpool are already the champs. So, Vic, where does that leave us in the table outside of that top spot in the Prem in matchday 36? So you can't talk about the top spot, so go ahead.
Well, you said outside the top spot, but I'm still going to talk about it as Liverpool are your champions. Despite the draw, it doesn't matter. Again, we have 83 points. I already claimed the title. Behind us, a clear 15 points is Arsenal. They have 68 points in the number 2 spot. Newcastle United. Newcastle United, yeah, able to leapfrog Manchester City and Chelsea. They're in the number 3 spot now with 66 points. Manchester City again picking up that draw, have 65 points now, and Chelsea losing to Newcastle have 63 points. Stay on 63 points, but they round out our top 5, and then tickling our top 5 is Aston Villa, as I would say. They're in the Europa League spot, in the number 6 spot, with 63 points. And then Nottingham Forest have finally slipped out, or not finally, but they've slipped all the way out of Europa League spots, any kind of European spot, with 62 points. But there is still hope. We're still pulling for them. What a story this year. But yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks for them. Taking a look at the bottom of the table, you'll find the relegation squad, and I can name off all kinds of numbers in here, but I think what encapsulates everything is that these three have been clearly out of their league, as they combined have a total of a negative 146 goal differential.
Oh my God.
Absolutely insane between the three teams. And yeah, there's levels to this, obviously, and that kind of sums everything up.
I want to do a total of like how many goals were scored in the Prem, and then like compare that. Like these three teams gave up like 2/3 of the,
Well, I'll see if I can get that for the next round or something like that, because I'm definitely going to bring it up, and they still have time to get even less. So but I will say that right above them, you'll see, as you alluded to earlier,
Tottenham
Hotspur, Manchester United, the 17th and 16th spot. They are going to subject Spain to their battle for 16th soon. And
listen, you never do that in this. Like, they're already relegated. There's no need to go above that, and then you're just.
I know, but we've been talking about Ipswich and Leicester and Southampton for a while now, so it's mixed up.
Time to give some other teams,
yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Anything else you want to take a look at, Snooze? Well, we have the table.
Hell no. Okay.
Well, we had a really good game between Newcastle United and Chelsea, who both at the time had 63 points, fighting to get in front of one another, and Newcastle United happened to pull it off. Tell us a little bit more about that match, Snooze.
The match was pretty much shaped by two events that happened early on. And the first one was Newcastle getting a goal in the second minute. That kind of changes everything from the get-go. Chelsea probably wanted to do more, but obviously they were chasing the match, and they couldn't probably stick to their games. I'm saying probably because I don't know what actually went on, but it just looked like they were shell-shocked from that point. And they tried to get back into it, but Newcastle, they're a really good team, and an early goal like that really changes things. The second thing that changed this match or shaped the match was that Nicholas Jackson got a straight red card in the 36th minute. And after that, Newcastle were pretty much comfortably seeing out the win. They do get their second goal in the 90th minute. So that means they scored in the second minute and the 90th minute. Like, that is the bread, I guess we'll call them. Look at that. Is that bread?
Yes.
You can't do your hands like that. Take up the whole screen, but that's messed up. All right. Anyway,
Rude.
Everything in between that was just kind of blah. And Newcastle saw it out. Honestly, they saw out the win, but even though the match was okay, the results caused chaos, and that's what we're here to talk about. Because with City drawing with Southampton, which is just insane, Newcastle jumped them into third, and Chelsea are level on points with Villa with a better goal differential. And there's only 2 matches left, so Chelsea have United and Forest, which United, we've talked about it, they're not really caring about this, and Forest. That last match between Chelsea and Forest could mean a lot. Like, it could be a season-defining match for both teams. And they're fighting against Villa, obviously. And Villa have Spurs, who, unfortunately, in the same space as United, they're not going to be trying to fight. But then the other team that they have is United. So I think Villa have the upper hand here, but I just can't see Chelsea dropping whenever they're so close to getting it there. But for sure, Villa will think that they have 6 points in the bag with Spurs and United on the docket. And we'll see how it turns out. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how things kind of fall. But I think for sure, well, I don't say for sure, but if I was betting, Vic, if I was putting my money down, I would say for sure Newcastle and Manchester City are getting in. And that last spot, I'd probably say Villa, honestly. I'll probably say Villa. What about you?
I don't know, man. I kind of lost hope in Chelsea because when I wanted them to win, they didn't, and it caused Manchester City to leapfrog them and actually get into this conversation to begin with.
Yeah, right.
So I think by default, I'm obliged to agree with you. But I do want Nottingham Forest, man. You got to root for Nottingham Forest no matter what. And I don't know. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
If I would be okay with Forest getting into the conference or the Europa League, because I think that's probably better suited for them. Just like we talked about a second ago with Freiburg. Like, maybe Freiburg is probably, and actually I don't think it was Freiburg. Who was it? Oh, it was Roma. We were talking about how it's probably better for them to not get in the Champions League. I kind of feel the same way about Forest, because I just don't know if they're built to go deep into these tournaments, but I definitely think they could do it if they got into the Europa or the Conference League. maybe not in Europa League, because it takes some of the best teams in the world to get to the Europa League final. You know what I mean? So yeah, they probably couldn't do that, but probably in the Conference League. So anyway, I'm okay with seeing them get some type of European football, just maybe not the Champions League. And for, I don't know, the way that I look at it is if they don't get into the Champions League, they're more than likely, well, Betis is a good team, but they more than likely will win or get into the Europa League either by their position or if they win the Conference League. So they'll still be in Europe and they just won't be in the Champions League, which I'm okay with. I don't know. They just don't seem like the most fun team to watch. Like some interesting teams. I want to see Villa up there with the squad they got. City, of course. Newcastle, yeah. And then Liverpool and Arsenal. It's all good. So that's where I'm leaning. Tell us who you're leaning. Put it in the comments. Let us know, because there's a lot of different ways that this can turn out. And even though the rest of the league is locked up, this is going to be fun. A fun battle for these last 2 match days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can't
Anything
wait.
else we need to say?
I'm all good. I got nothing. I don't think I got nothing. Yeah.
All right. I just like go Liverpool, go. Yay. Did you want to say that or something like that? Yeah.
I mean,
anyway,
I've been saying it since we won the championship. We're good.
Let's get out of here. No.
All right. First and foremost, everyone, thank you for spending your time with us and talking about some European football. We want to thank you guys. We have 363 followers on TikTok, 61 subs on YouTube. Amazing to think everybody is out there trying to listen to us. It's from where we started. Absolutely incredible. So thank you, everyone, so much for promoting us and helping us out here. And of course, you can follow us on all of our social medias. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for TikTok, except for Twitter. That is at No Biz Sock Pod, because that was way too long of a name. Everyone, we will talk to you soon on the European Look Ahead, where we talk about the last few match days we have remaining. Y'all have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.
Peace.